Hello and welcome again to another video in the series Learning to Drive with Gary Phillips. In this video we're going to look at skids, the causes and correction of skids. First look at the causes, and in order of importance, the driver, the vehicle and the road are the main causes of the skid. The driver, because you're driving the vehicle, you're the one that probably will cause the skid by braking too harshly, accelerating too harshly, those kinds. But also you need to be driving to the conditions of the road and have a well-maintained vehicle. If the vehicle isn't well maintained, maybe the brakes aren't as good as they should be, or the tyres are getting bald, then that could contribute to causing a skid as well. And also the road conditions. If the road conditions are slippery, wet, icy, maybe leaves on the road, maybe gravel, then all of those things could cause a skid. But as a good driver, you should be driving a well-maintained vehicle, and you should be aware of the conditions of the road and driving to those conditions to try and avoid getting into a skid situation. If, however, we did skid, then one of the most common causes would be braking too harshly, which would lock the wheels, and then the car slides across the surface of the road. As it does that, usually the back end starts to slide either to the right or to the left. So if that happened, let's imagine that the back end of the car is going to the right in this case. To correct that, firstly you would come off the brake, and then you would need to steer slightly to the right to bring your car parallel again. So in the direction of the back end of the car. So if the back end goes right, you would steer right. Now hopefully you would notice the skid early enough so that you wouldn't need to do a lot of steering. So usually it's only going to be a slight amount of steering, maybe 10 past 12 if you think of your steering wheel as a clock face, that kind of amount, not much. And then back to 12 o'clock to keep it parallel. While you're doing that, you'd be going back on the brake as well. So you'd be off the brake, steering and back on the brake again, but not quite as firm so that it didn't lock the wheels again. If your vehicle was going to the left, then it would be the opposite. You would steer to the left. So again, off the brake, steer to the left, back on the brake, and steer straight. So that should that should correct a skid where the back end of the car is skidding to the right or the left. If the back end is staying parallel and you're just skidding in a straight line, then you wouldn't need the steering. You would just be off the brake and back on it again. And if it skids again, back off the brake and back on it again until you do come to a stop. So that's how you would correct the skid. Thanks for listening.